Bungie isn't telling the full story about Marathon, and there's a reason. Bungie is trying to control the narrative around Marathon, even as interest fades. They keep pushing updates and confidence while parts of the player base just check out. If you've been watching, the gap between what's said and what's happening feels off. This matters because it shows how modern live service games are managed behind the scenes. Bungie keeps talking about long-term plans for Marathon. Early reactions and sentiment trends point in a different direction though. Players aren't lining up with the same energy you would expect from a major studio release, and yet the messaging hasn't changed. There's a pattern here. Studios rarely admit when a live service game struggles early. Instead, they double down on confidence and future promises. What you're seeing with Marathon isn't random, it's more of a standard industry behavior. If you understand why this happens, you'll see the same pattern across multiple games. This game really isn't built to be played by a lot of people from the very beginning. You log in with a group of people or even by yourself. You roam around gathering whatever you can to get ready. You win some fights and you lose some. And you also get some loot while you're at it. All that is fine until you realize that people getting off their jobs are playing this game. They can't compete against streamers and YouTubers who have hours of practice and a dedicated team. So the casuals quit, and that's the bulk of your numbers for this type of game. Something like this was never going to track the amount of people needed to justify the cost of Bungie building this thing up in the first place. So why does Bungie even stay confident in public? Well, first, they can't really afford to show weakness this early. A live service game depends on perception. If players think a game is failing, fewer people try it, and the decline speeds up. Studios know this, so they protect the image at all costs. Second, there's too much money invested into this thing already. Games like Marathon aren't minor projects. They take years of development, large teams, and major marketing budgets. By the time concern shows up, backing out just isn't realistic. The only option is to just keep pushing forward. Third, live service games are designed to recover over time. Studios don't expect perfection at launch anymore. They expect to fix systems, rebalance gameplay, and rebuild trust over months to years. That means early struggles don't trigger a shutdown. And fourth, internal data doesn't always match public sentiment. Players look at hype, trailers, and early reactions. Studios look at retention, session time, and spending patterns. Even if online discussions look negative, internal numbers might still justify continuing. This is why the public message often sounds a bit disconnected. The common view is that Bungie's being just a little dishonest, but it's not really lying, it's more of a strategy. The more accurate view is that they are protecting a long-term investment. Studios don't speak like players do. Players react to what they see and feel. Studios respond to metrics, timelines, and financial pressures. When Bungie talks about confidence in Marathon, they aren't trying to reflect current sentiment. They are trying to shape future sentiment. That's a difference that most people miss. Once you see this, you stop expecting studios to give a direct read on how a game is doing. They are always selling the next phase, not reporting the current one. So how do you read these situations like more of an insider, because you're going to see more of them? Well, you start by separating marketing from reality. Anytime a studio talks about long-term vision or player-driven evolution, treat it as positioning. It's not a status report. That language is designed to keep interest alive. Then look at player behavior instead of announcements. Check player counts, engagement trends, and how quickly updates are pushed out. Fast, frequent changes often signal that the game isn't meeting expectations internally. Pay attention to content pacing. If a game releases updates too slowly, players lose interest. If updates come too fast, it often means the studio is reacting to problems. Both tell you more than official statements. Then you want to watch how the studio handles feedback and criticism. If they acknowledge the specific issues and respond clearly, that's a sign of stability. If communication stays vague and optimistic, they're just buying time. Finally, you want to track how long that support lasts. Studios don't abandon games immediately. they give them time to recover. The real signal isn't what's said early, it's whether support continues a year later. And some of these games are not going that far. And we've got to remember, Bungie isn't the only studio doing this. This is how the entire live service model operates now. The real issue isn't whether players keep accepting it. If a game struggles but stays alive through updates, players often come back. If they don't, no amount of messaging can fix it. So the question isn't whether Bungie believes in Marathon, it's whether players will give it enough time to justify that belief. And if they don't, the next live service game will follow the exact same script. And again and again and again until players start ignoring these games for good.
Oh, hey, glad you're still here. I've, just finished syncing the next set of files for you. They're right over there on the screen. Take a look and, catch you in the next one.